I'm Jay Addison from EventChain.io for Investmentpitch Media and FinTech News Network. Today on Blockchain Interviews, Eric Lifson, the co-founder of Skrumble. Eric, tell us a little bit about the Skrumble Network.
Yeah, sure. So we all know blockchain is kind of a big deal, and according to Deloitte, 10% of the global GDP will be on blockchain by 2027. So we're seeing this whole new shift to decentralized paradigms and way of thinking, and a huge amount of funds being moved into the blockchain. The problem is that when we think about communication, everything is centralized, and you don't own your data. What does that mean? Let's think about Facebook, okay? So Facebook, you have 87 million accounts that have been compromised earlier this year. 70 million accounts have been compromised for Telegram, and it was banned in Russia. We have WeChat, where that was also, it's actively censored in China. And people are scared about, making sure that their data, their files, everything is, really secure and it can't be blocked, hacked, manipulated, all these kind of things. And, we saw an opportunity where, this needs to change. And we created Skrumble Network. Now, Skrumble Network is a few key things. One, it is its own blockchain. And number two is it's a collection of DApps, or decentralized applications, that are built on that chain. Now, one of the key apps that we're doing is called Ally. Ally is a really exciting application that's launching in beta in August. And we already have 70,000 people that have signed up for it. So pretty exciting.
No kidding.
Yeah. So in this application, it's kind of like WeChat or WhatsApp on the blockchain, in that you can do voice, video, messaging, file sharing, in-app crypto payments to other people, and even mini smart contracts. Now, in all of these things, everything is in one place, and it's super, super easy to use. Even your grandmother can use it. It's really bringing blockchain to the mainstream. Now, what's very unique and cool about this is that there's no centralized server. What happens is we do an authentication on the blockchain, and it creates a secret key. So let's say you and me wanted to have a conversation. It would get into that secret key, and the only way, then it gets into a peer-to-peer communication, and we can communicate how we want. And let's say we want to save some files. Well, the files are not saved on a centralized server, as I mentioned, like Facebook or Telegram. It's saved actually using our community-owned master nodes. And they do all the storage, they do all the files, etc., like that, and provide the service. And it's around the world and completely decentralized. Also, Skrumble Network is backed by Skrumble, a technology company based out of Canada, and there's 50 employees there, 30 global patents, and 16 patents pending. So it's serviced by that. And what we have is one of the global patents is how we take the data, slice it up, and spread it out across the multiple community-owned nodes. So let's say, for example, God forbid, one of the nodes was compromised. Guess what? Your data is secure because they are only getting a little fragment, a little piece of that data, and the rest is already replicated and sliced up across the network. So no matter what, your data is safe, and it can't be blocked by firewalls. We believe in data freedom and security, and why shouldn't you be able to talk about crypto or things like that in China or in Russia or whatever? We're bringing freedom and communication. So that's kind of the general idea of the project. We have some top tier advisors behind the project, including Anthony Diorio, who started Ethereum, and we have Jeff Pulver, who started Vonage. We have Redwan Alchemy, Dr. Redwan, who's a PhD at University of Toronto, head of fintech and blockchain. And we also have Genius 2, who is a CTO of Aon, which is a great project as well. So we have a really all-star board, and we also have 15 top global VCs behind us as well, behind the project, including Block VC out of China and Wolf Crypto and many more. So really like a all-star advisory team, 50 people on the team, and unique technology and real patents and real technology. So it's pretty exciting.
Yeah, definitely. Your team is really stands out from the crowd. That's for sure. I mean, your project alone actually is seems to be a notch above most of the blockchain projects out there. That's for sure. Now, one of the things that you focus on with the Skrumble Network is ease of use in developing applications, but also security. Do you find that that's something that's missing in other blockchain projects?
Oh, 100%. I mean, not even blockchain projects, but any project. I mean, we're in a time right now that's a little dangerous. You have to be a little concerned as a citizen or as someone who's, we look at, for example, like, Facebook was a great invention when it first came out. But look, at the end of the day, I don't think people realized how valuable their data is. It's so valuable that Mark Zuckerberg is now the third richest man in the world. And you've now given him all the data, and he's selling it and doing whatever he wants with it. And I think that there's a group of people in this world that are saying, well, I don't know, is that the best thing for me? Is that the best thing for my data? Should I own some of it? Should I have a little bit more control of my data? Should I choose what to do with it? And I think people are getting more educated, and they're demanding better. And that's why we have over 80,000 people in our community across the world, mostly in Telegram and in WeChat in China, that are just saying, look, we're fed up with this and we need a change.
Yeah, there's definitely a big shift in data ownership these days, or at least the way that people are feeling about their data, because as you mentioned, Mark Zuckerberg's fortune is really based on the value of that data. He's selling everybody's data. That's really the value of Facebook, isn't it? So let's talk a little bit about the business model of Skrumble. Like, what does the revenue model look like? Where will the revenues come from for the Skrumble Network?
That's a great question. So what we do is a utility token, and there's a few key usages for that utility token. Number one is we are fostering and helping different projects and apps or decentralized applications like Ally build on our chain. We're actually going to be launching something called Skrumble Labs soon, which is basically helping other projects build on the Skrumble Network chain, and providing them the tools so that, mostly focused on communication and media, and helping people, create global blockchain, enabled communication and media solutions. And Ally is the first and like keystone of those things, but we have a lot of other exciting ones coming too. So there's that. So you can use that and build on it and use the token. Number one. Number two is, and you get the whole package of tools to do that. Number two is, I'll give you an example for Ally. It's free to use, but if you want to unlock certain premium features, you need to use the token. So if if we having a conversation, great. But if you want to store files securely over our network, or if you want to, have access to secret exclusive events, or if you want to have, join people, a lot of influencers. We know someone in China, for example, who has 10 million followers on his WeChat groups. And they have to pay, and you wouldn't even believe this. They have to pay $1,000 to be part of his WeChat groups because he's so famous and he's like the exclusive guy, and he's actually one of the investors of the project.
Wow.
So users there, and these kind of exclusive clubs or these exclusive membership things, just charging to get into those groups, it's powerful. Like. The first person that comes to mind is like Beyonce or something like, obviously not a crypto person, but like in the future, we want this to become more mainstream. And if you want to be part of, her fan club or whatever it is, name anybody. Like they have an exclusive list of people. If you want to be part of this list, you need to pay to get into it. And we actually have special stickers, which doesn't sound like that crazy, but trust me, especially in the Asian market, people love stickers. So we've actually created, like, we're doing whole community commissioned sticker collections, and people can pay, different things. There's very cute ones, there's very funny ones, there's very whatever. And we did a whole community oriented voting, and one, like a very cute one that's a fox, won the competition. So with a big SKM logo, that's the name of the token. And it's very funny, but like when you have 80,000 people, everyone has an opinion. They're so engaged and so active. It's cool.
Yeah, it's really worth its weight in gold, right? So let's talk for a little bit about the milestones in the software development for Skrumble Network. What does it look like over the coming months here?
It's a great question. So we have a very clear goal on what we're trying to achieve, and we, in the short term and in the long term. So in the short term, we're going to be launching Ally, which is the main DApp. And our philosophy is, you hear a lot about different chains and stuff like that, and to the average person, you say, oh, it has X TPS or stuff like that. It doesn't mean anything to anybody. It's like, oh, that's transactions per second, and it's like 200 or 500 or 700. Who cares? The average person, for a mainstream application, it's really about users and something that they can sink their teeth in, the metric. And so for us, there really hasn't been a killer DApp yet in this market. And we want Ally to be that killer DApp. Now, how we're going about it is that our goal is to be the #1 DApp by the end of September. How do we do that? Well, currently the #1 DApp is called Steemit, which is kind of a blogging community. I think they have 60,000 users, and our goal is to have 100,000 users by the end of September. And that's also when we go up on our testnet. Now, once we become the #1 DApp in the world, which is very attainable for us, and just based on our huge community, the amount of people that have already signed up, and the massive marketing campaign we're going to be doing in August, we're pretty excited. And the goal is, as I said, to have at least 100K users, be the #1 DApp in the world, and make a huge push for press around that time, which is exciting. And then and that's on our testnet, which we're already doing quite well with, ahead of schedule. And then we're going to do our mainnet later this year. And we're also going to be doing Skrumble Labs, which is going to be fostering and helping other projects in different industries leverage our communication and blockchain technologies and build on our chain. So we essentially create an ecosystem. And I have to say, not all of these ecosystems are built the same. So for example, if you ask many people, what are the top development communities in blockchain in terms of results? Because we care about results. That's what we care about, And you look at them and you think, okay, maybe Ethereum, and you think maybe Neo or some of these other ones, right? Mm-hmm. Ethereum is great. I'm not gonna slag on Ethereum. But you look at Neo, for example, they're famous for the city of Zion, or citizens of Zion. I forget some Matrix reference, okay? And which is great. I don't know about you. I look at the projects. I look at the things there. I don't think that they're necessarily DApps that would stand the test of time or be able to stand by themselves, other than the fact that they're just affiliated with Neo. That's the majority of them. They're just a small protocol or small thing like this. And I've got to believe that we can do better. And this is my belief, but I think that 2019, one of the big trends you're going to see is, okay, yes, we've got the infrastructure and the stuff and the protocols, but that's not mainstream. That's not sexy. What matters, you're only going to be good as the DApps on your chain. And our goal is to have 5 or 10 killer great DApps that actually have utility, that can be really used, and really that people want to use, that are exciting, that are game changing in their spaces. And it's built on the SKM Skrumble Network token.
Well, Eric, you guys have certainly had some accelerated growth already, which is very impressive. How does someone learn more about the project or get involved in the project?
That's a great question. So what you can do is you can check out www.skrumble.network.
Okay, fantastic.
Or you can check us out in our Telegram group, and it's just called Skrumble Network Chat. We have 50,000 people there, and then 30,000 across our different languages and WeChat groups. So if you're Chinese, so a lot of and Russian. So a lot of like really, we have some great people around the world and great community managers that are volunteers. We have about 10 people around the world that are just so dedicated to this project. In Spain, in China, in Russia, and they're just like really like they live and breathe Skrumble Network. So, it's really exciting and very humbling.
Eric Lifson, co-founder of Skrumble Network. It's certainly been a pleasure speaking with you today on Blockchain Interviews, and we certainly hope to do a follow-up in the near future, because this is a very exciting project, and I'm sure our viewers would like to follow up on this and find out how it goes as the future unfolds. Thank you so much, Eric.
Thank you so much.